Hello everyone, welcome to the next e-lecture. Myself, Professor Neha Sharma from Department of Computer Engineering, KK Wagh Institute of Engineering, Education and Research, Nashik. We are NAC-A accredited and NBA accredited for 8 branches. In this lecture series, we are discussing a course, Data Analytics, of Semester 1 of BE Computer Engineering 2015 course, and we are affiliated to Savitribai Phule Pune University. The topic that we are going to discuss in this particular e-lecture is decision trees, and it belongs to unit number 4. So before we move on to the lecture and the concepts of decision trees, let us see the objective and the outcome. So the objective of this particular e-lecture is to understand the concept of decision trees, and at the end of the lecture we will be able to understand what are the various types of nodes in a decision tree. We will be able to evaluate the decision tree based on the concepts of entropy and information gain. We will also be able to understand the general decision tree algorithm, that is how a decision tree actually works, and we will be able to explain the advantages and disadvantages of decision trees. So let us proceed. So as it is decision tree, it is one of the classification methods, and it belongs to the category of supervised learning. So as we all know that supervised learning is a methodology wherein we are given with a labeled data set and we train our model, and the same model can be used on the test data set for prediction and recommendation purposes. So classification, as it is widely used for prediction. As a few examples, we can consider a healthcare application wherein say we have a data of different patients, and depending on the symptoms of the patients, we should be able to predict whether the person is diabetic or not, or is maybe COVID positive or not, for that matter. Another example that we can consider is of email. We all have been using this emails. So depending on the data set that is available to us, maybe our classifier is able to predict whether a particular email received, whether it belongs to the junked category or not. So these are the few examples of classification. In this particular number 4, we will be discussing, or we will be mainly focusing on two fundamental classification methods. The one is decision tree and the another is naive Bayes classifier. So in this particular lecture, we will be focusing on the first one, that is decision trees. So what is this decision tree basically? So as the name tells you, decision trees. So it is a tree, that is a tree structure that helps you make decisions. So now it specifies a sequence of decisions. So for, let us say we are given with input x, which has different variables. Say for example, it has n variables from x1 to xn, and depending on the values of these input variables, we have to predict the value of our output variable. Let us say this output variable is y. Okay, so x, capital X is our input variable and capital Y is our response variable or the output variable. Okay, now as far as these input variables are concerned, input variables or input features can be of any category. They can be categorical or they can be continuous. Okay, now if we consider any tree, basically forget about decision trees, if you consider any tree, we all know that tree consists of two things, nodes and the branches. So similarly in decision trees also we will have different types of nodes and branches. Okay, now what do they represent, that we will see. Node in a decision tree, it represents some test on a particular input variable. Okay, which input variable, that we have to decide, right? Okay, then there are different types of nodes in a decision tree. The node with which we begin constructing our decision tree is obviously our root node. Okay, then we proceed and construct the nodes of the first level, then the next level, then the next level, and so on until we get to the leaf nodes. Now what are these leaf nodes? Leaf nodes are nothing but our final outcome. Now what is this final outcome? Final outcome is nothing but our class label or the label for our output variable, that is y. So that is represented by leaf nodes. Now in between nodes there will be some intermediate nodes. Those nodes are called as the internal nodes or the intermediate nodes. Okay. Now there is another term that we need to understand, that is the depth of a particular node. So as the name tells you, depth means the distance or the minimum number of steps that you need to reach that particular node from the root. So that is called as the depth of a particular node. Then there is another term that we have seen in a decision tree, that is branches. Okay, so branches, obviously they are used to connect different nodes. So particularly here, branches are used to connect the parent and the child nodes. What do the branches represent? Branches represent what decision you have taken. Okay, so node represents the test on some input variable. Now depending on the outcome of the test, you proceed to either of the branches. So branch actually represents the decision that we have made. Okay, now remember, it is a classifier that we are discussing. So as such, there is no relationship between the input and the output variables, neither linear relationship nor non-linear relationship. Okay, so this we have to remember, no such relationship exists between the input variable and the response variable. Okay, now by and large, these decision trees are broadly classified into two categories. The first one is the classification tree and the second one is known as the regression trees. So what are classification trees? Basically, classification trees are the trees where your outcome variable is categorical. Now when we say categorical, we often meant binary variable, that is, it has either a yes or no outcome, play or not play outcome, buy or not buy outcome, has a disease, not has a disease outcome, and so on so forth. So this is called as a categorical output. Okay, then the second one is regression trees. So what happens in regression trees? Just the reverse of classification trees. Here our outcome variable has a numeric output, that is, it is continuous value. It has some specific value for the outcome variable. It is not categorical. So that is regression trees. That is the basic difference between the classification trees and the regression trees. So this is just a short example of a decision tree wherein we want to predict whether the customer will buy a particular product, let us say a computer or not. Okay, so the root node is the node that has on which we are checking the attribute, one of the attributes from the input variables, that is gender. So now this gender can have values either male or female. So depending on the value of the test attribute on gender, we will proceed either to the left branch or to the right branch. So let us say we proceed to the left branch, that is, if gender is female, then we check the income of the particular person. So if the income again is less than 45,000, let's say our output or the final class label is yes, that means it indicates we are trying to predict that the person is going to buy the computer, and if it is greater than 45,000, maybe he or maybe she will not buy a computer. Similarly, if you check the right side branch, that is, if gender is male, then we are checking or we are testing another attribute, that is age, and if the age is less than equal to 40, then our outcome is yes, that is, the person will buy the computer, and if it is greater than 40, our outcome is no. So as you can see, all the nodes of the last level, they represent our leaf nodes, and they are nothing but our class label. In this case, class label can be either yes or no. Income and age are our internal nodes, so we are testing on different variables, you can see here, and root node is gender. So if you consider depth of age, it is 1 because that is the distance you need to reach that particular node of age from the root node, that is gender. So this is just an example of decision tree. So let us say now here we have a data set like what you can see on the screen, wherein you have 4 input variables: outlook, temperature, humidity and wind. and based on these 4 attributes we have to predict whether the person is going to play tennis or not. Okay, so this is our training data set that is given to us. So we have to train our model, and accordingly we will be given with a test data set, and from that test data set we have to predict from our model whether the person is going to play tennis or not. So again here our outcome variable will have 2 possible values, either yes or no. Now how do we proceed for construction of this decision tree? Now in the previous example you have seen we have chosen gender as our root node. So how do we know which of these attributes have to be selected as the root node? Then how do we know which attribute we have to select at the next level, to the towards the right branch and towards the left branch? How do we select those attributes? So for that purpose you need certain measure of attribute information. What is that? There are 2 types of entropy methods that we can use. The first one is called as entropy and the second one is called as information gain. That is, these are the measures using which we are going to select which attribute gives us most information or is the most promising attribute that we have to consider for testing at a particular node. So for selection of a particular attribute out of the available attributes, we use these 2 measures, that is entropy and information gain. Now these 2 terms are basically related to the concept of purity. Now what is purity? Purity is nothing but probability of a corresponding class. Now we all know what probability is, and anyways I am going to explain you properly what is actually this entropy means and what this information gain means. So for now just remember, entropy is a measure of impurity of a particular attribute, whereas information gain is reverse. It measures the purity of a particular attribute. Now just by looking at the meaning we can easily guess that we want to be able to select a attribute that has high purity or that has high information gain and it has less impurity, that is it has less entropy. Now what this actually means and how we are going to use these 2 concepts for constructing decision tree and what are the formula for this entropy and information gain, that we will see next. So here let us consider a scenario wherein we are given with 3 baskets with these balls in it. The first basket has 4 red balls, the second one has 3 red and 1 blue, and the third basket has 2 red and 2 blue. So let us say we want to rearrange these baskets. Okay, so in how many possible ways you can arrange the first basket? Yes, obviously answer is 1, because all of them are red balls, so no matter how you rearrange them it is going to look the same. So in one way you can arrange the first basket. Second basket you can arrange in 4 possible ways as shown on the slide, and the third basket you can arrange in 6 possible ways as shown on the slide. Okay, so now depending on the kinds of balls available in each basket, what is the probability of picking let us say what is the probability of picking a particular ball, or how much information do we have about the ball that we pick? So certainly in case of the first basket we know that the ball that we are picking is a red one. In the second case we are not sure because you have one blue ball, and in the third case you are even less unsure because you have 2 blue and 2 red balls. Okay, so this is about rearranging the baskets. Now we will slowly move on to the concept of entropy. Now here in this slide we are going to discuss what is entropy and what is knowledge. Okay, so let us say, considering the scenario of the 3 baskets, what ball we are going to pick. Okay, so how sure you are about the ball that you are going to pick in first case? Yes, in first case we are very sure that the ball that we are going to pick is a red one. So definitely that means that we have high knowledge about the ball that we are going to pick. So high knowledge definitely means less entropy. Okay, so as we have seen, entropy is a measure of impurity. Okay, so in the first case there is no chance of impurity because all the balls are red. So definitely it indicates low entropy and high knowledge. In the second case, yes, we can say that there is a possibility, there is a lot of possibility of getting a red ball, but still there is some possibility of getting a blue ball. So let us say we have medium knowledge. So medium knowledge indicates medium entropy. Whereas in the third case you have low knowledge and high entropy, because there are equally likely chances that you may pick a red or a blue ball, because it has a 50-50 chance. Okay, so that is entropy versus knowledge. If you have high knowledge, you have low entropy, and vice versa. Now let us say we want to play a game. We are given with this basket with 3 red and 1 blue ball, and we want to pick 4 balls in 4 chances, and if we are able to get the same sequence as in the original basket, then we win a lot of money, and if we are able to get a different sequence, then we win no money. So I want to find out what is the probability of winning in each of these cases. Okay, so how do we get that probability? Yes, definitely if you consider the first basket, you have all 4 red balls, so probability of getting a red is 1 and probability of getting a blue is 0, and we are picking 4 balls in 4 chances, so all the 4 balls would definitely be red. So in this case, probability of winning is 1 into 1 into 1 into 1, that is 1. If you consider the second basket, here in this case probability of getting a red is high, that is 0.75, because you have 3 red balls and 1 blue, and in the probability of getting a blue ball is of course 0.25. So if you calculate the probability of winning, it is a multiplication of 0.75 3 times into 0.25, and you get a probability of winning as 0.105. Similarly, you calculate in the third case, where probability of red and blue both is 0.5, and you get probability of winning as 0.0625. Okay, now here you are using multiplication. So whenever we come across product, it is not nobody likes to make use of products, especially when you are dealing with numbers in the range of 0 to 1. So this is the reason, because in this case we are having 4 balls or 4 inputs. So imagine a scenario wherein you have hundreds and thousands of input, and then calculating a product of the outcome in this case would give you a very tiny value. So what we would probably be interested in is to convert these products into sum, and the way that we know, the best possible way to convert products into sum is using a log. And if we are converting this into log, we are going to use minus log of probability of winning. Now why minus is because we are dealing with numbers between 0 to 1, answer is definitely going to be negative. So to make it positive, we use minus logarithmic. So the same thing, if we calculate minus log of probability of winning, in the first case it would be minus log of 1 minus log of 1 minus log of 1 minus log of 1, which gives you 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, and in this case our entropy is 0. Similarly, in the second case, you will consider minus log of 0.75 minus log of minus log of 0.75 minus log of 0.75 minus log of 0.25, which would give us the answer of 0.81. Similarly, you calculate the entropy in the third case. In third case, as you can see, the entropy comes out to be 1. So whenever as you can see here, in the first case our entropy is 0, because this data set that is available is completely pure, there is no impurity. That is why entropy is 0, because entropy is a measure of impurity. Similarly, the last data set, it has equally likely chances, so 50% blue balls, 50% red balls. That is why here entropy is 1, because the data set is impure and has equally likely chances. So now if you convert this into a scenario, and if you try to convert this into a formula of entropy, it would look something like this. Let us say we have 5 red balls and 3 blue balls. So if we have to calculate the entropy, it would be if first we consider the red balls, we have 5 out of total 8 balls, so 5 by 8 into log of 5 by 8, and you have 3 blue balls, so it would be minus 3 by 8 upon into log of 3 by 8, which gives us the entropy of 0.81. 9544. So if you try to generalize this formula, it would give us something like minus m by m plus n log m by n plus n minus n by m plus m log of n by m plus n. So here you can consider m by m plus n as the positive probability, or maybe probability of one of the outcomes, that is in this case red, and you can consider n by m plus m as probability of your negative outcome. Let us say in this case negative means here we are trying to say about blue balls. Okay, so let us see this with the help of one example. If you have a sequence like 4 times A and 2B followed by C and D, so in this if you check the probability of getting an A is half. So you have 4 A's, so that is half into half into half into half. You have 2 B's, that is gives you the probability of 1 by 4 into 1 by 4, and then you have C and D only once, so that gives us the probability of 1 by 8 1 by 8. So if you multiply all of these values, you get 0.000488. Okay, so if I want to calculate the entropy of this, it would give me minus half into log of half minus 1 by 4 into log of 1 by 4 for B, and minus 1 by 8 into log of 1 by 8 for C, and again minus 1 by 8 into log of 1 by 8 for D. That gives us the entropy of 1.75. So this is how you calculate the entropy. It is a measure of calculating impurity. Okay, so now we will see the general formula for calculating the entropy. Entropy, if you say h of x is the entropy, it is nothing but minus summation of p of x into log of p of x. Now we have another measure, that is information gain of an attribute. So what is this information gain? It is nothing but base entropy minus conditional entropy. So in putting it into another words, base entropy is nothing but entropy of the parent node in your decision tree, and conditional entropy is nothing but entropy of the node or the child node after the split. Okay, so that is nothing but information gain. So basically we are going to use this concept of entropy and information gain, and we are going to calculate the information gain for each of the attributes, and then we select the attribute that has the highest information gain. So highest information gain means the most promising attribute, and accordingly we will proceed for constructing the decision tree. Okay, so that is the basic concept between entropy and information gain. So now let us proceed for a general decision tree construction algorithm. So let us say we want to construct a decision tree capital T from some training data set, say capital S. So we have to choose one of the attributes as our root node. So how do we select this root node? As we have already discussed, we will select the most informative attribute. Let us say the most informative attribute is A. How do we select that? Yes, of course, using entropy and information gain, we select the most informative attribute. So in this case, A is our most informative attribute, so we select it as our root node, and then depending on the values of these attributes, we partition the training data set S according to the values of A. So let us say if A is categorical and it has two values for A, so you will have two branches, one left branch for one value and right branch for another value. Similarly, if A has 3 values, then accordingly you will split in, and your tree will have your parent node will have 3 children in that case. Okay, so depending on the values of attribute A, you will partition the data set accordingly. What is the next step now? Definitely, if you are partitioning the data set, then definitely you have sub trees T1, T2, T3 depending on how many partitions you are trying to make, and then you will go on repeating this process recursively, that is go on repeating to construct the decision tree until one of the termination condition is reached. Now what are these termination conditions? First possibility is all the leaf nodes that we get satisfy some minimum purity threshold. Okay, so we'll have to set this minimum purity threshold. So if all the nodes satisfy this, then we have to stop. Our decision tree construction is complete. Then we have another criteria, that is tree cannot be further split with minimum purity threshold, and there is no possibility to split the tree further. Then we have to stop. Okay. Then there is another one more stopping criterion, that is you have reached some maximum depth. That is, let us say I don't want to construct a tree with depth more than 10. Okay. So if I set my threshold to 10, then if I reach that level of depth, I have to stop. Okay. So this is a general decision tree construction algorithm. In the subsequent lectures, we are going to see what are the algorithms that we use to construct a decision tree. We have ID3 algorithm, we have C4.5, we have CART, and so on and so forth, right? So we'll discuss these algorithms in detail in the subsequent lectures. This is a generic algorithm. Now we'll proceed to the advantages and disadvantages of decision tree. So in case of advantages, it is computationally inexpensive. You simply have to follow a set of rules and you test on each of the branch, and definitely it is so simple procedure that you can easily interpret the outputs, because it is simply a sequence of test. Okay. And in this case we give importance to each of the input attribute, because we are going to select the attribute at each of the node as our test attribute, and accordingly we have to construct the decision tree. So we give importance to each of the attributes. Also, one of the advantages is decision tree is capable of handling both types of attributes, that is numerical as well as categorical attributes. Okay. In case of categorical attributes, we can also have categorical attributes with many distinct values. That is not only a categorical attribute which has only 2 values, but even if it has many distinct values, decision tree can handle such type of categorical attributes. Okay. Now we proceed to the disadvantages. So one of the disadvantages is it is sensitive to small variations in the training data. Of course, if you change or if you make some changes in your training data, your entire decision tree is going to change. Okay. Another disadvantages is the problem of overfitting. Now what this overfitting is actually means is, overfitting is when let us say your model fits perfectly for the training data, but it does not fit correctly for your test data. So this concept is called as overfitting. So this overfitting can probably occur due to either lack of the training data. The lack of training data here means less quantity of training data. I mean, not enough amount of training data you have to train the model, so your model is not properly trained. So there is a chance of overfitting. Or another chance is you have a biased data in the training data set. So it is biased to either a yes outcome or a no outcome. So in that case also there are chances of overfitting. Okay. Then one more disadvantage of a decision tree is if your data set consists of certain irrelevant variables, then decision tree is not so good, because in that case if you are choosing such irrelevant variable as your variable for splitting, or as your split variable, or as your splitting attribute, then in that case there are chances that your tree will grow larger and larger, and if this happens, again there are chances of overfitting. Okay. And the last disadvantage is, definitely if you make a bad split initially, that is if you select a wrong attribute initially, then the same thing would be propagated throughout the rest of the tree. So we don't want that to happen. So this is again one of the disadvantages of decision trees. So we have seen the advantages and the disadvantages of decision tree. Now we move to the next concept, that is decision tree. As you know, it is a greedy algorithm. Now why do we say it is greedy is whatever is the best at that particular point of time, you choose that attribute and then you proceed for constructing the decision tree. That is why we call it as a greedy algorithm, right? So we proceed step by step with the best possible option, but not necessarily the option or the attribute that we are selecting is the best overall. So you cannot say that the tree that you have constructed is optimal. Okay. So that is why we call it as a greedy algorithm. So how do we avoid this, or how do we overcome this disadvantage is you can address this using some ensemble methods. One of such ensemble method is random forest. In random forest, what we do is we construct multiple trees, and you use the concept of voting, because you assign some vote to a particular class label, and you try to get votes from the different trees obtained, and the label that has the maximum vote, that is selected as the final predicted label or final predicted class for that particular data set. So we'll see the concept of random trees and random forest in the subsequent lectures. In the diagram that is visible on the screen, we are showing the concept of overfitting. So the blue line that you can see represents the training data set. So let us say you have constructed your decision tree using the training data set, so you get the blue line, and let us say the red line is representing your test set. So you can see there is a variation in the red and the blue one, so that shows that you have overfitting. So to overcome this overfitting, what you can probably do is we can stop growing the tree early, and or maybe if you have constructed the entire tree, then construct it fully, and then you can apply some conditions of threshold and accordingly prune the branches that you don't want. Okay, so that is nothing but overfitting, and that is all. So in this particular lecture, we have discussed the basics of what is a decision tree, what are the different types of nodes in a decision tree. Then we have seen how for constructing this decision tree we have to select the most promising attribute, and for selecting the most promising attribute we use the concept of entropy and information gain. So entropy is a measure of impurity and information gain is a measure of purity. So we want to be able to select the attribute that is most promising, that is the attribute that has high information gain and low entropy. So depending on that, we construct our decision tree using some of the algorithms that we will see in the subsequent lectures. And then we have seen the advantages and the disadvantages of the decision tree. So that is all as far as this e-lecture is concerned. Still, if you have some concerns or queries related to the concept that is discussed here, you can definitely drop a mail on my email ID, that is ngSharma@kkvag.edu.in. So thank you so much for patient listening. Have a good day.